Good morning, evening, or afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 1 of How to Play Empyrion Galactic Survival. Today we are going to concentrate on game settings, the early quests, and basically what you want to do when you first get started. So this entire series is going to be a guide for brand new players who have never played the game before. So I'm going to assume that you are one of those players. If this is not what you're looking for, there's probably plenty of content on YouTube. So that would probably be a good place to start. But this is for the brand new players. It's going to be a little bit on the long-winded side, so be prepared for a long video. Now, we're going to start with a new game here, just so I can show you the options here. Now, I recommend for anybody just starting out, you want to go with the default random scenario. That way, not everybody's going to be the same. We're not going to all start on the same planets. So, like, we start on our Diffus this time. Next time we'll be on others. I recommend to start with you set your difficulty to easy. There is a reason for that. This game's a little heavy on survival, as in you have to worry more about eating and drinking than a lot of the survival games out there. And I actually feel you have to eat and drink a little too much on medium until you get really set up. So we're going to go with easy just for the sake of this tutorial. You can do medium pretty easily. Medium's not too bad. There are a few things that you have to worry about with medium. So that's the way I would suggest that. Now, so for your game name, you want to name this basically whatever you want. So we're just going to go for tutorial. This does not affect your seed at all. Now, this seed right here is what decides how they're going to randomly generate the planet. So if you have the same seed as a friend of yours, then you'll have the same planet basically. So if you and a friend are playing separate games, then that's the way to do that, is just if you want the same world, or if you're watching a YouTube video or something like that. Like my seed here will be 956877. So if you want to play along with it, with me, then go ahead and just type that in for your seed. So we're going to go on cancel there. Easy difficulty settings. Start location is just what planet you start on. There's going to be like 10 planets, I believe, in your galaxy, or in your entire game to start with. So you can choose which start like. No, wait, we can't. Okay, so that's because of the default random. So with default random, you can't choose. Other than that, that's pretty much all there is. If you're doing a multiplayer, you can do a co-op server, but I recommend having a beast of a computer for that, because it does a lot of back-end stuff. It will actually lag you quite badly if you don't. But that's got to do with the way that the different planets and stuff work. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. For this, we're going to do single player. So let's go ahead and start. And I will see you when we get in. Okay, so when you start an early game, the one thing you got to realize is that you are crash landing. So you can actually aim this, and I recommend trying to find like a little POI, something that looks interesting while you're crash landing, and fly towards it. So this looks kind of interesting. That may just be yeah, I think that's just a rock. You'll want to find some. Okay, that is an actual wreck. That's what we want. You want to crash land as close to a wreck as you can, because oh no, it's not a wreck, it's a rock. Okay, so basically, we're going to crash land in a bad spot here, so that's fine. The idea is... Ow. Okay, so the idea here is... Let me turn down my volume a little bit, because apparently I have it way too loud. Alright, so Robinson Protocol, you definitely want to do the briefing. Go on and hit Let's Go on the briefing for your first playthrough, because it's going to give you quests that are going to give you items, which are really, really helpful. So you always want to do your escape pod here. You want to hit F to loot that and pick up everything. Now, I'll show you real quick. So if you have like a bunch of items in here, right? Anything. So we'll put a couple items in here. If you want to loot them all, you hit this little arrow right here where my mouse is circling, and it'll loot everything to you. And then you can just hit escape or F to get out of that. The first thing you want to do when you crash land is you want to make sure that you'll survive. So to do that, you make a free survival tool here. This takes a few seconds. So you usually want to start going towards whatever you're going to start mining. The thing we want to do the most here is early game, you need to get mining up as much as possible. There's a couple different ways that we can do bases, but they all require you to be able to mine. So there's no free base in the game. There are some POIs that we can take over, and we will be. So now basically once you get this up, all you have to do is right click. You can either go in defense mode, which attacks animals and nasties. It will also chop down trees in defense mode, so remember that. That's going to come in handy later. You can do rock drill or you can do salvage. Now for rocks like this, you have to do rock drill. So basically you choose that and then break it apart, and then you actually have to loot these off the ground. The way to level early game is picking plants, so we'll do that as soon as we get to some plants actually. In fact, we'll look for some plants. You'll want to mine everything you see to start with, because you're going to need a lot of stuff to create your base. Okay, so it says to open our PDA. So hit F1 to open your PDA, and it brings that up. That's part of the new quest, I believe. I don't know if that's going to stay like that or not, but that is part of the new quest, so go on and do that. And that would be F1 again. And now we just go around reading the questing and progressing on that. As we're doing that, we want to go gathering everything we can. Like, watch my experience down here in the lower left-hand corner as I pick this. You got 150 experience for that. So you get a lot more experience. You get experience from pretty much everything you do in this game, but you get a lot more experience if you pick in early game. So that's basically where you want to go for picking. There is a base design that I will go through later that that allows you to pick an entire farm, and it levels you pretty quick, but that's not something I would recommend for a new player. A new player, I recommend you take the time and build your own base. Now we're gonna need some biofuel later, so we're gonna start chopping down some trees while we're at it. And oh, now we got a POI here. So it's sending us to a wreckage 1.62 kilometers away. That's a decent walk. So along the way, we just want to grab everything. So that's what we're going to do here. We're just going to grab everything that we can. We're going to knock down these right here, because these rocks are really helpful. Rock early game is probably your best bet, because you're going to need a little bit of everything for your base to start with. So kill the rock, because the rock can actually be turned into anything that you need early game. We're not talking about late game. Late game, there's a lot of extra stuff that you need, but we'll deal with that when we get to it. That'll probably be quite a few episodes down the line. So these guys right here, I know they look mean and nasty, but they're not. They will give you a warning, and then they will attack you if you're too close to them. If you stay away from them, like here, they're not just gonna come up and attack you. They're pretty docile. They'll give you a warning before they attack. You don't have to worry. However, there are some creatures in the game that will just eat you alive without thinking about it. We're gonna probably run into a raptor, maybe this episode, maybe next. We'll figure it out when we get to it, and I'll show you how to deal with them. So you do not want to run in this game. Now, not early game anyway. Not until you really got everything set up. The reason why is because running requires calories, and calories require eating. So the more you run, the more you eat, basically. So we're just gathering up all the stuff on our way to our little waypoint over here. And gather everything you see, obviously. That's a big deal. There we go. Oh, by the way, I do have a Twitch page, and I do stream this game daily. Like tomorrow, if you're watching this video the day it comes out, tomorrow I will be streaming this game, and 7 Days to Die, I believe. I will be pulling a 12-hour stream tomorrow, at least an 8-hour stream every Saturday. It's really according to the goals that I get, but tomorrow I will be pulling a 12-hour stream. I usually start at 10 a.m. Eastern, so feel free to swing by and give me a chat, and if you have any questions about anything in the video, I will be more than happy to answer them. That's kind of what we do around there, is we help new players. That's pretty much who I am. I like to help people, so obviously I am doing this video. If you're interested in streaming as well, I do have some other videos up that I'm currently working on. In fact, that's the next video I'm working on, is a guide for streaming. Also, if you are interested in 7 Days to Die and haven't played it yet, I do have a beginner's guide up on that as well. So be sure to check those out. And I should be doing some more videos coming up the next few weeks. I want to finish this guide up, and I also am doing that streaming guide as well. So there is a lot of stuff that you can catch coming up. If you want to subscribe, that would be awesome. Not begging for it. Okay, so we've got berries on this tree, so we want to pick the berries off the tree before we take it down. And F does all the picking, so just remember that. That is one thing that I get confused on quite a bit, actually, because I play so many different games that controls get confusing. So yeah, see, I'm messing up and running here, and I told you not to, so let me stop running. I'm used to playing in-game now. Now, like I said, I'm basically just running through and gathering everything that I can along the way. I believe that I will fast forward the video until we get to the next interesting thing, which should be the POI. I'm just gathering all the stone, all the ore, and all of the plants and stuff I see along the way. And we'll get into why we want to do that shortly. So I will see you when I probably get to the POI. I think that's about the most interesting thing coming up. So see you there. Oh, okay, so here's something interesting. What we need to worry about here is nothing. These guys, they are dinosaurs, but they do not attack you. So if you see those, don't run away from them. You can walk right up on top of those guys and they won't attack you. But I'll see you at the POI. Okay, so I just discovered a new resource, which is an iron deposit here. Now, we can't do anything with this iron deposit yet, or this copper deposit that I just discovered. Discovery gives you a good chunk of XP as well, so you definitely want to discover things. However, when we get our drill up, which is one of the first things that we're going for, we'll be able to hit that and get a lot of iron and a lot of copper. So that is something that is very, very useful. You definitely want to also, while you're here, like I'm actually in the mountain biome right now. Now, a lot of mountains are heavy with silicon. I don't know if that carried over from the last patch or not. But used to, you could get a lot of, or you used to be able to get a lot of silicon out of here, but I don't think you can anymore. Silicon's more in these sandy areas now. We did find a silicon deposit, which is amazing. That is something that we are going to need all of it early game, because that's how you make all your electronics and tools and stuff. So we will be concentrating on getting to that silicon deposit immediately, if not sooner. Okay, so we're only like 460 meters away from the wreckage here. So let's do some exploration while we're on our way there. Now, if you notice, I've gotten 16 crushed stone, 17 copper ore, and 30 iron ore. I'm going to need a lot more crushed stone as soon as possible so we can actually get to what we need. If you find any POIs along the way, by the way, make sure you loot them. They've got some pretty good stuff in them, and you can actually turn them into bases if you need to. We will be turning this wreckage into our first base, and I'll explain why when we get started. But for now, we're just making sure that we get as much resources as we can until we get there. We're about to get the stuff that we need. Ooh, I like this water. You also want to be close to water for your first base if you plan on staying there for a while. We'll explain why, but those are the #1 things that you want to try to do. You want to try to find a POI early game if you can, because that will keep the drones from attacking you. which we'll get into very shortly. I will actually build a base away from our main base here once we get it done, just so I can show you the drones. But the drones will attack you. Like, basically, if you just start building a base to start with, you're going to get wrecked. They're just going to camp or spawn camp you until you can kill the drones. So the thing to do is take over a POI, because it doesn't register as a new base and they will not attack you. That's usually the best way to start the game. In fact, I think just about every game that I've done now, except for the first time that I played, was that way. And I definitely recommend going that route. But like I said, make sure you pick everything. Okay, this is silicon. This is what we're looking for right here. We want as much of that as we can get. It is gray with the little white dots all over it. It took me forever to find some of that my first playthrough on Twitch. People were telling me about it, but I couldn't find it, and I was just like, well, what's it look like? So now you know what it looks like, which is really good. So most of these tips that I'm giving you now are just things that I've learned from the wonderful viewers over there. Okay, these guys are actually friendly. Do not attack them if you want to live. They can hurt you big time right now. They're friendly unless you attack an animal that is friendly. If you attack an animal that is not friendly, they will not attack. So basically, they're neutral. If they see you attacking any neutral animals, they're going to attack you. If they see you defending yourself, you're fine. They can be useful for experience later if you decide. It's really according to how you decide to play this game. You can pretty much be the nice guy here, or you can be the bad guy. I mean, it's up to you. So you basically want to kind of parkour your way up into here and loot these personal cargo here. As you see, we get a portable constructor, a motorbike, purified water, corn sprout, fiber plant sprout, hair thing sprout, and durian sprout. Now this, I believe, is standard for that container in the quest. So the ones that you want to worry about are your mini bike, of course, or your motorbike, of course, and your portable constructor. Now that we've gotten that, we've got a portable constructor that we can create things in, which is good because we have this right here that we can turn into a base and we can salvage for parts. So what we're going to do here is look around. It says to go to the alien tower. We're going to hold off on that for a little while. We do not want to go to the alien tower yet. I recommend at least having guns before you do that, because there will be some aliens there that are not so nice. And this defense tool isn't that great. Now, if you notice, all of this is just wreckage, which is good because that's free materials. We'll get into that very, very soon. First thing we want to do now that we have our portable constructors, put it down and make some tools. In order to do that, you just place it down by choosing it on your bar and left clicking, and then you hit F to access it. Now, you notice how we can't make anything yet. We actually have to send stuff into the input in order to get stuff. So we're going to shift click on the silicon ore here, or you can just drag it. It's up to you. So we're going to shift click on all the stuff that we need to make things out of. And that would be your silicon, your iron, your copper, your wood, and your stone for now. Now we can make biofuel out of plant fibers as well, so we're going to put those in there. These plant proteins, we can make food out of there, or out of this stuff, so we're going to go on and put this in for now because we don't have a refrigerator. So now we can make berry juice, which actually gives you health. We can make energy bar, which gives you food, which is something that is key here. So we're just going to hit control click here to turn it on, or to start making the energy bars. Now it's not going to make 20 energy bars. Control click will allow you to like heavy stacks, and then shift click will allow you to do smaller stacks, or you can left click to do singles. So we're just going to start that here, and then we're going to look through and see what we can make, because food is key right now. We need to make a core, which means we need computer and optical fiber. Let's find out what we're short for that. So if you go under components here, it will have computer here, which needs steel plate, optical fiber, and electronics. For the steel plate, let's see. Basically, let me think. We need the optical fiber, so that says we don't have enough silicon and we can't make enough silicon yet. So we're just going to need more rock, basically, is what it boils down to. The core is the number one thing. Without a core, you cannot build. So let's go on and skip through the night when it comes, and then we'll show you in the morning how to build the rest. But for now, while I'm waiting on nighttime, I'm going to go get more rock here. So make sure we're on rock drill mode and drill. I'll show you how to skip night on single player. You cannot do it on multiplayer, unfortunately. But you can on single player. But we're just going to grab this rock. These big rocks right here really give you a lot of rock. So if you see one, make sure you kill it early. As we get the drill, rock's not an issue. But we don't have the drill yet. We're actually working on getting a drill immediately. We need the actual constructor for that, so we have to make us a little makeshift base here, which is what we're concentrating on now. These take forever to break, but they are worth it. So they... Okay, that's one of the alien dudes. So these things use your stamina. When you run out of stamina, you're using your food faster, so you want to kind of watch out for that. And it slows you down on everything. So just remember that. You got to let it regen a little bit. And here we go. See this? We've got 34 crushed stone in that one pile and another pile with 32 crushed stone. Now we should have enough to make the silicon that we need for our base starter. So let's go ahead and put that in, and let's go to devices. Yes, we have a core. The first thing you make is a core. That is number one priority here. Let's go on and cancel these. I don't know why it's not running. Okay, you have to turn it on. But we'll make those later. We've got 3 energy bars now. We're not too hungry, so we're not worried about that at the moment. But what I love about this game over any other game that I've played recently is the auto create feature. If there's any intermediate parts that you need to make, it'll automatically make them for you. That is amazing. That was weird. If you heard that, that was somebody driving by with a CB radio interfering with my computer, oddly enough. So we're just going to let this create. This is going to take a minute, so I'll meet you when it's done. Okay, and we are now constructing the core. Now the thing about the core is, without a core you can't build anything. So you usually want to have 1 or 2 spare if you can later on in the game. Right now we just need 1. So we're going to make that, and let's see what tools we can make real quick, because tools are going to be very helpful. We can do a drill. We need a drill immediately. You want to worry about drills before anything else, because that's what gathers your material. Now that we've got the drill being made, we need to also worry about fuel for the drill. So we're going to go on and do the biofuel. You remember what I told you about? Let's go on and max biofuel for now. We're gonna let biofuel build while we're waiting on everything else. Remember what I told you about the deposits and stuff earlier? You need a drill to get to those. That's why I say that's number 1 priority. So we've got us a drill now, and we are making biofuel. Now there are some things that we need to unlock here if we can. So we hit F3 to bring up the tech trees menu. This is basically your skill stuff. So we'll want to go to tools here first, and you see these multi-tools and stuff like that. These are your tools that you can unlock. The 5 here is the number of points that you need to unlock it. And the level 3 says that you need to be level 3 to unlock. So by the end, you should have enough points to unlock everything in the game. So that's not a big deal. Now, we're going to be building our own base instead of using workshop bases for this one. So we kind of want to pay attention to what we unlock and when we unlock it. First thing we want to do is we want to unlock this ore scanner and detector. That's going to allow us to find things from further away. All you need to do is put those in your inventory when you get them. We'll actually show you how to do that. So this tier 2 drill is amazing, but you have to have, I forget the name of the, you have to have drill charges, which requires promethium, which is a very rare thing on the starter planet. So we're not going to worry too much about the tier 2 yet. But what we want to unlock first are the ore scanner and the detector. So that's what we need to unlock as soon as we hit level 3. Now that we're done with this, we've got some fuel ready to go. Okay, so we're going to want a little more fuel. So what we're going to do is we're going to sleep through the night here, because this will continue to make as time passes through the night. So whatever time we pass, if we pass 8 hours through the night, it's 8 hours worth of stuff that we'll go through. So you basically, let me pick this up so I can show you what it was. It's a survival tent. Everybody gets one to start with, even on multiplayer, but it only works on single player. So what you do is you just place it down, and then you hit F to sleep through the night. It'll only allow you to sleep through the night, and then you hit Shift F to pick it up. You'll want to carry that with you wherever you go. That way you can sleep through the night. See how we got 20 biofuel off of that already? So we've got plenty of fuel now. Let's go hit our silicon deposit, because that's what we need the most of. We're gonna place our bike and hit F to get on the bike. And then we're gonna drive to the deposit. Well, we want to stop off and pick this stuff because that's free experience, and natural sweetener is useful for later. Now we're level 3, we need to hit F3, and we want to unlock the ore scanner here, and we want to unlock the detector here. So now that those are unlocked, we can make those back at the base, and we're going to have all the stuff to do it. So I'm just going to pick this up along the way too. Early game, I recommend stopping off and picking everything up. I know it feels like it's a bit of a pain, but that's just part of the early game grind. I think all games have them. But that's how you level quicker. So that's what we want to do. Like, see this right here, we're going to show you the use of the drill here. Now, to reload the ammo is actually biofuel for this. So to reload the ammo, we're going to hit R to load it up, and then we're going to choose rock drill for anything above ground, like this right here, and just hold down the mouse button on it. You've got a 2-meter range on this, which is pretty long. And if you notice, this does not use stamina either. The drills do not use stamina, which is amazing. And now we'll pick this stuff up. 29 crushed stone and 35 crushed stone. Sorry about that, I just had a little power flicker there with the lighting. But luckily it's not too bad. So I'm not going to worry about this top rocks, or these top rocks anymore, now that we actually have the ability to get all 3 of our nodes here. So you get about 50 meters away and hop off. Now here's the problem. If we were to just walk over here and start digging straight down into here, we're not going to be able to get out. We're going to get basically stuck. So I usually like to get about 30 meters away and hit F5. F5 will allow you to use a drone. See if, okay, it won't let me show you from the outside. Basically, you can fly around a drone. This is your #1 most useful thing early game when it comes to tools, besides your obvious drill. Now, this will allow you to drill. So if you go to ground drill here, which is what we need for digging underground, you want to get about, I'd say probably about 20 meters or so from it. Point directly at it and start drilling. Now basically you just sit here and hold the drill button. This takes a little bit of time because we're only using the tier 1 drill, and it only goes 2 meters, so when it stops drilling you just move forward. The reason I say about 20 meters is if you happen to fall in later, then you're okay. You can actually get out. If you're aiming at it like I just did, you're gonna come down at an angle, and I'll show you in just a second. So that way you can actually walk back out of it if you happen to fall in. I have had the problem of digging straight down and falling in and not being able to get out, which is why I recommend this. Like if you look up, you can pretty much walk, you can jump your way out of there. So that's not going to be that big of a deal if you fall down. Now you want it as, you don't really want it as that steep. Actually, I probably mistold you on that one, but I mean, you can get out of there. It's going to be a little bit of a pain. You might have to drill some, but I've actually had to restart due to falling into holes, so be careful with that. Now when you get your drill, your tier 2 drill, you can actually fill in holes and stuff like that, so you don't have to worry about it. And then we're going to be building a drilling miner or a drilling rig as well later, which is an actual vehicle made specifically for drilling, so we're not going to worry too much about it then. But for now, we're just basically going to come down here. We haven't hit the silicon yet. You'll definitely know when you hit the silicon. But we are going to mine every bit of this silicon. It's a medium size, so that means there's a good bit of silicon in there for you. And you need all the silicon you can get early game for tools and stuff. So if you mine every bit of the silicon ore to start with, you'll basically be set for early game. Which is why we're going to do that. So I'm just going to keep digging till I hit the silicon here. And when I hit the silicon, I'll show you what it looks like. We should be about to hit it. There we go. You notice how the texture changed to that white sandy looking stuff, or clay looking stuff? That's your silicon. That's what you're after. Once you hit that, basically, you dig a hole into it, like this, and just, you want to mine every bit of this out of here. So basically, once you get here, it's best to go in circles. Just dig out as far as you can. Make sure you get all of it. This is going to take a while, so what I'm going to do is I will fast forward through all of this mining, and I will meet up with you once I'm done. This is probably going to take about 20, maybe 30 minutes. Alright, so I know I said that we're going to mine all of it, but there's a reason why you want to leave it at 10%. Now, when I say mine all of it, this is what I mean. 10% or left. Now, you'll see it's a pretty big hole here. It took quite a while to do it. There's still some ore left in the bottom down here, and you want to leave this. The reason why is because later in the game we're going to be doing something called an auto miner. And the auto miner will not deplete your node. However, the player can deplete your node. So what you want to do is you want to leave at least 10% behind, or around 10% behind before you're finished. Now, to get out of here, there's two ways we can do it. We either want to hit F5, or you can fly out. Hitting F5 is the easiest way to do it because that just cancels your drone and brings you right back out here. See, it's nighttime now, so let's go ahead and sleep through the night because we need light. Oh, we've got enemies nearby, so we're gonna have to get away from the enemies first. Sorry about that. Get out of the enemy spot. And I'm blocked. There we go. Get away from the enemies here. Now we want to pay attention to where that's at too. So that's a good idea to not... Oh, okay, so it's daytime almost. Let's look at our map, find where we were. We were here, so if you right click here, it'll give you the chance to make a waypoint. If you hit waypoint, let's go for set that as home because that's what we're gonna set as home, and hit waypoint here and accept. That way it'll show up on our mini map. It'll be one of those yellow dots on the mini map. So we've got the alien tower over here and we've got the wreckage here, that's home, so we're headed back home. But you want to be careful not to fall into that hole, because if you fall into that hole, you could get stuck. And in fact, I think we would right now. As soon as we get our tier 2 drill up, we're going to fill in the hole. We just need to remember where it's at so we don't do it, basically. Alright, so we're coming back up here. Oh, we've got enemies. These guys we cannot deal with right this minute. So we're gonna come over here and get off of the bike. We kind of want to hide from this guy because we do not have guns yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump up in here. Whoa, you got to be careful in that. We don't need to jump up into it. Let's see if we can sneak our way around here and grab that without him seeing us. There we go, and now we can just sneak in here. This guy is not somebody we want to trifle with right now. He is pretty strong, especially for the weapons that we don't have at the moment. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop our silicon and all of that fun stuff back in there. Now, we get spoiled food. We're going to get a refrigerator soon, so we're not too worried about having spoiled food yet. We have some energy bars, so we're going to go on and eat one of those. We've got our core, so we can start our base. Now, the thing about the cores is, as soon as you drop a core, if you do not drop it on a POI, it will immediately start sending out drones to attack you. If you drop it on a POI, they don't realize that you've dropped the new core and they don't start sending drones. So we want to use the POI to hide our core to start with. So now we're going to go ahead and, what was it we were going to make? We need to make tools here. So like I said, the first thing you want is an ore scanner and a detector. And we're going to want a chainsaw as well because we're going to be cutting down a lot of trees here. Let's see what else we can unlock at the moment. We are level 3. We have 15 unlock points. So we're going to want a multi-tool immediately, so we're going to go on and do that, and we're going to need multi-charge, which means we need promethium. So we can't really use that yet, but we need it soon, so we're going to do that. Now there are things that we want to unlock here. We've got under base here, we need to make sure that we get the food processor soon, so we're going to go on and unlock that. And we need to worry about solar panel blocks. I recommend doing solar panel blocks before you ever drop your base, because you're going to be able to get a lot more energy out of it, and there is a limit to how many solar panels you can have up. So we're gonna have to go to solar panel blocks to start with. We're gonna have a solar powered base. We're gonna get into that in just a minute. So now that that's done, we need to make sure we've got everything we needed. Plant grow lights are going to be pretty important soon if we want to get food, but we're not worried so much about that right now. We don't need to worry about the turrets to start with because we are protected by having our base the way that we're going to be doing it. We've got 4 unlock points, but every gun's going to cost more. So we're going to need more unlock points. Let's see. We can do a pistol already. So we're going to have to go ahead and make one of those as soon as possible. So the next thing we want to make here is we need a capacitor. We need at least, whoa, no, not one of the small ones. We need at least 2 solar panels and a large constructor. So what are we going to be short for that? We need motors, so that means iron. So we need a large constructor, we need computer and motors, so that means we're short on iron. We need to go get that next. We will do that. We've got our capacitor being made now, which is good. I did just unlock the solar panels, didn't I? Let me make certain of that. Yes, I did. Solar panel blocks. So let's go back into here. Check our devices. We should have solar panel blocks in here. I'm not sure why they're not showing. Oh yeah, I know exactly why they're not showing. We need 2 small solar panels to start with, so we can get power. We need to make a large constructor to make the blocks. That's why. But 2 small solar panels will be enough to power what we need right now. So that's what we're gonna make. Now that we have a capacitor that stores your energy, you need that. You need 2 solar panel blocks before you can do anything else, or solar panels before you can do anything else. So we're going to go on and get that done, and once we get that done, I will meet up with you. Okay, I went ahead and slept through the night as well. We have our solar panels and our capacitor. So what we want to do is we want to put these 3 items, the capacitor, solar panel, and the core, on our bar. Now we're going to hit F5 because you can build using the drone. And this is very, very useful because you can build from above. Now we want to hide this core somewhere in here. It doesn't really matter where you put it in, because all we need is 1 block of this to stay. So we can actually get rid of all of it. We're going to be getting rid of all of that later. So we just plop our core down somewhere. And then we will take number 5 here, which is our capacitor, and find a nice little spot to tuck that in. This is just a temporary base, so it doesn't matter really where you put it. We're going to fill in some of these floors as well while we're at it. And then we need to go up higher and drop our solar panels. Now our solar panels, it matters where we put them, so let me drop out of here real quick. We need them to the east and west. So find the east and find the west, so we need it to go. I'm rotating this by using the home button. If you use the home button, it'll rotate, and will rotate as well along that green axis there. Now if you want to change the axis, you hit insert and delete to change the axis. So you figure out which axis to rotate around, and you do it that way. Now this is just a little quick temporary base. It doesn't need to be anything special. We're probably going to end up taking most of this apart later anyway, so it doesn't really matter how we set this up for now. But you need 1 facing east and 1 facing west when it comes to these solar panels. Now as long as they're touching that base, we will have power. So now we have power to the capacitor. We're going to let the capacitor charge up while we go get the iron. So let's go ahead and here make sure that that's all we needed for it. I think it was. Yeah, computer and motor, and we're going to be short. We've got plenty of silicon, so I know that's what we need for the iron. So we're going to go get some iron now. Now you notice these little red things up here. Well, you can't. Okay, these little red things up here on my mini map. That's telling me that's something undiscovered. Believe it or not, you want to walk towards those, or drive towards those in our case. So I'm gonna go to the iron deposit here. I'm not gonna tear up the entire iron deposit. That'd take too long. But basically, we're just gonna go hit some iron. Just enough, I think, just to get what we need. So I'm gonna stay about 30 meters out, so we can get a nice even grade there. Hit F5 and 3 so we can get our drill out, and then we're gonna aim at it and just start drilling. That way we can get a nice gradual grade going. That way if we fall in, it's not that big of a deal. We're not gonna empty this one to 10%. We're just gonna empty this one until we get probably about maybe 100 ore. Because as you saw, we had plenty of silicon ore from that last one. We will come finish this one off later, but we're not too worried about it right now. This is a small one anyway. It won't take us long to empty. But once we get this, we'll head back to base, and then we will start building what we need to. So I will meet up with you when we get back to base. Okay, so yeah, I heard some stuff while I was mining, so I decided to take a look. It's just these guys. We're not worried about them. Like I said, they're friendly until you make them not friendly. And if you kill some of these guys and find more of them, they'll still be friendly to you. As long as they're not the ones who saw you do it, they'll leave you alone. These guys are kind of like the old American Indians. Not all the American Indians were friendly, but most were. They're nature lovers, obviously. They're a tribe. So I'm just going to continue to do what I was doing, and I'll meet up with you back at the base. I just thought about something. I probably want to show you what the iron looks like, don't I? When you hit the iron deposit, you're going to come into this reddish blue stuff here. That is iron. So that's what you're looking for while you're down here. If you don't see it, keep digging. So we're just going to dig right into the iron here. Not worry about doing too much, but digging straight through it. I think digging straight through it should be plenty of iron. As you see, we already have 8 iron, so it doesn't take long to get what you need. Alright, so yeah, another thing. Make sure you pick up your bike anytime that you, I'm at the base by the way. Make sure you pick up your bike anytime that you get off of it, because you have 25 minutes to get back on it before it despawns. So you can very easily lose your bike. You can make new ones, but it's much easier on you to make sure you always pick it up. Okay, so now that we're done with that, we're going to go put the iron ore in here. And we are going to make our large copper. Be right back. Okay, so here's the copper. The copper is green and red. That's what you're looking for in here. So just make sure you get enough of it. I'm not going to get a ton of it, maybe 100. And then I'm going to head back to base and I'll meet you there. Okay, so we are back at base. I got exactly 100 copper, so like I said, maybe about 100. We're going to go on and drop our crushed stone in there too, because that can make anything we might need later. And it's good for concrete, which we might decide to use concrete to fill in the base here, because we will need it airtight before too terribly long. But today we're just concentrating on getting the starter base going. Now, the devices we need, like I said before, the capacitor, the solar panels, and the large constructor. Don't worry about making anything else in this mobile constructor, because this mobile constructor is really slow, and it's useful for things like fuel and stuff while you've got other things queued up and you don't want to use your electricity in your base for fuel. It's useful for queuing up a bunch of fuel outside of the base. We'll get into that in a future episode, probably the next episode. But for now, we're worried about getting this constructor done. Now, once we get this constructor done, we can go on and pick up the mobile constructor and place the main constructor down. And then we technically have a base that we can start building on. Let's check our points while we're doing that. And I've got 4 unlocked points available. So I need to go to tools here. I do have the multi-tool, but I do not have the stuff that I need for the fuel for it. So we're not too worried about that. We're going to have to just scrap this base, which is going to give us a lot of iron and stuff. So that's fine. We do need weapons. So we need to get this, in this area, I'd say the assault rifle is going to be better for us. If you're in the beach area and there's a lot of spiders, I recommend getting a shotgun. But if you're in an area where you've got like that big old spider dude that we saw earlier, we're going to want the assault rifle first. So as soon as we get the unlocked points for that, we'll be using it. There's not really anything to pick around here as much right now, I don't think. I need to stop running. I'm used to in-game again, where food is not such an issue. But yeah, we'll go picking probably in the next episode so we can get some levels up. So we're gonna head on back here and just get the base going. We don't necessarily need a gun quite yet. As long as we can avoid that dude, we're fine. Okay, so now our large constructor's done. We can pick everything up here. Now there's 2 ways to do this. You can either hit Shift F and pick this up by itself, or you can empty it out first. But it's going to do a drop container, so you can just copy move everything over like we did before. Now we're going to go up into the building here. This is all ours now, so we can actually take this apart. You can't take it apart without a core, by the way. But now we can. So if we wanted to salvage here, so say we don't like these floors being like that, right? We can salvage this and replace it with another piece of flooring, which can be very helpful in the near future. You're a pretty good jumper in this game, by the way, so I wouldn't worry too much about clearing all this out quite early. Now, we need room for what we're about to build here, or what we're about to throw down. We need the large constructor in here, and this is pretty big, so we want to clear out enough floor space for it. I probably should have moved the capacitor somewhere else. But we'll get into that later. We would rather have the multi-tool for all of this because the multi-tool is a lot more efficient, a lot faster, a lot better to use. So you can salvage everything in this game, by the way. You can even remove things that you wouldn't think were removable, like this. And this. I'll show you in the next episode how to worry about. I would not recommend undoing everything in here to start with because there are going to be stability issues that we need to get into. So in the next episode, we'll actually cover that. Why are you not even showing? Okay, there we go. I need to remove these. So basically, I'm just clearing out room for this thing at the moment. See these little blocks right here? These little quarter blocks or whatever you want to call them? They're counting as a full block. So it's not even showing us the option to place it there. So I'm just removing all of them. We will be putting concrete flooring down later, or maybe wood, we're not sure yet. We just need something airtight. Wood's probably the smart thing to do. But as of now, we're not too worried, because we can replace block by block if we want to later. So we just need to get this placed immediately. So we're just going to place it right there. Our constructor is done. We have power. Let's see how much power we have. I'm going to give us room to get through here. Oh yeah, P menu. The P menu is your best friend in this game. If you are at a base, yeah, see we have 2% battery power here. We are currently consuming 50 kilowatts and we are outputting 27. So that means we're going to need more power. So you can either access everything through the P menu here. So we have a large constructor, core, capacitor, solar panels. We're going to actually double click on the large constructor here and it'll let us access it. That's the best thing in the world because you don't have to run from place to place in your base. So we're going to drop everything that we have into here because this is going to be useful. What we're going to do is take all the stuff that we've salvaged and all of this. Portable heater, cooler. We'll hold on to that for space travel later. So we're going to drop everything into here. And then we're going to look through here and go to devices and make the larger solar panels. So let's go ahead and make, say 10 of these if we can. Because 10 of these will be more than enough to power our needs here. And basically it'll let us save up energy and stuff like that. We're going to be needing them later. Now, we need to figure out the dimensions of how big we want to make our base or whatever. So we don't have to make those again later. I think we're going to make that the back wall. So let's go on and start getting rid of some of these while we're making those solar panels. This salvage is useful later. So hold on to all of that. Because we do get hardened steel plates and steel plates from them. Steel plates are used for most things. Hardened steel plates give us what we need for combat steel and stuff like that later. So we're going to want to hold on to all of that too. For when you're building your tanks and your vehicles and stuff. Now, we have barely even scratched the surface on what, like, the cool stuff in this game. Base building is really good in this game. We're going to get into that next episode a little bit. I'm going to start explaining how to do specific things. We're going to finish up our full base. or our first little base here. And then we're going to start thinking about moving forward into the game a little bit, maybe completing one of the quest lines. But for now, we're going to leave it about right there. I think this is going to be way too big for our actual base. So we're just going to drop a couple solar panels down here until we get plenty of power. 5 should be good for now. So what we're going to do, I always recommend doing this. Hit F5 to place anything, because that way you can reach up top and down below. So these are pretty big. Remember, home moves this around. Home end will make them move around, and delete and insert will page up and page down will move it up and down like this. Insert will move the axis again. Home will rotate around the axis, and end goes the other direction around the axis. So we're going to drop one of these here. We're going to drop another one here. And we're going to drop one up here as well. These things, basically, if they've got a single thing to drop or hold on to, they will. And then we're going to come across here. We're going to drop 2 on this end. Well, we're not too worried about making this look good. This is a temporary base, like I said. So we've got, yeah, there we go. We should be good on that. That is going to be plenty of electricity for what we're doing here. Like I said, we're going to work on actually building an actual base soon. Sorry, I thought I heard something. I had to make sure. We're going to be working on building an actual base soon, so we're not going to have to worry too much about that. So let's check our statistics here. This is one of your favorite pages, by the way. This will tell you what you need to know. So we're consuming around 5 kilowatts right now because we're only running one machine, so that's good. We're outputting 52 kilowatts. Average output is about 160 kilowatts, so we are actually charging batteries at the moment. That is good. That's what we want to do. So we can go ahead and put the solar panels in and figure out what we're going to build next. We do want a refrigerator, so we're going to go and queue that up, and a water generator. We're going to need that in a little bit. And a food processor. So we're going to go and queue those 3 things up. We don't need to worry about oxygen yet. We'll get into that later. We're going to queue up 1 light block, so we have lighting in here. And some cargo boxes. That should be all we need for this base right here. So now that we're done with that, we're just going to place these really quickly, and then I will call the episode here. It's a bit of a long one. I've been recording for like almost 2 hours now. So I don't think I'm going to be able to condense it down too much. Well, I will, but not insanely small. Now, okay, so you notice how it just paused there? That happens when you're running low on power. That is why you want to keep your power generation higher than your usage. So if we look at our generation versus usage here, see consumption's down to 0 watts. That means we're out of power. We didn't charge our battery enough during the day because we didn't have enough to charge it. Now we've got, you see how we get these spikes, right? What we're trying to do is during the day we want to get it to where that is not an issue. So we can go ahead and sleep real quick, and that'll get rid of all of that issue for us. There we go. And now we should be good on power, I believe. Yes. So we go to main here, and we can see our battery's at 6%. This should rise over the day, so that'll be a good thing. Now that that's done, if we look overnight, we built everything we wanted. So this water generator does not go on the base. These fridge blocks, this fridge block does go on the base. This food processor goes on the base. These go on the base, and we only need one of these because, believe it or not, they're really bright. So let's just place this right there. Alright, that'll give us plenty of light at night. Now we're going to place our Let's see. I'm trying to find a good place for these right now. That block's annoying me, so we're just going to replace that block with some stuff. That's usually a good idea, by the way. If there's a block that's annoying you through here, just get rid of it and put something in it. Like this. That takes up the size of a block. Now we'll do our refrigerator here. Remember home and end and all that stuff. So we've got a refrigerator. We've got a storage unit here. And we don't need to worry about the radioactive fog yet, but that will be coming. Let's see. Let's go ahead and, since we've got that there, what is blocking us here? Is there a plate down there? Yes, there's a plate there. We're going to get rid of this plate so we can fit our food thing there. And once we get this done, we won't really have to worry about food so much. We do want a weapon as well. So let's go on and make us a pistol as soon as we can. Let's check. We are still okay. I haven't done any picking, that's why. Now that that's done, let's go ahead and make us a pistol. So that would be under weapons and items. A lot of people swear by the pistol. I don't really like them myself. But, I mean, they're good. So 10 rounds here is going to be enough, believe me. You'll see why in a minute. We're going to go on and place this while we're waiting on that. So remember home and end and all that. I believe this is considered to be the front, so we're going to put it there. Yeah, that is. Just the easy way to remember is the side that those wires are coming out on, that's the front. See, for each one of these that we make, it gives us 25 bullets. That's why I say that would be enough. So multiply however many you're making by 25, and that's how many it's going to make. That is way more than enough ammo for now. Because we're not going to use this one very long. It's kind of a weak gun. It's just something that will keep us alive in a pinch. So now that that's done, we got 250 rounds. We can cut this off. You always want to cut off all your machines when you're not using them. Obviously, you want to leave these on at all times. These you can cut off. We can cook food here, but we don't really have any food to cook at the moment because all of our food's spoiled. So we're going to get into that in the next episode. But now we've got the basic base that we need. So we are good to go for the next episode. I will see you later.